Good morning, Facebook world. My name is Visa Shanmugam, and I am an empowerment coach and a network marketer for women who are sick and tired and feeling a little bit or a lot down about what's going on in their life, and maybe they're not able to share it outside. So today I am going to be coming to you live on a topic that is very near and dear to my heart. And I have no scripts planned, nothing planned, because this is what coaches do. They kind of, have something in their heart that they want to share, and they kind of what they call riff on it, right? Which I love the term because it makes me feel like a rock star. So good morning to you, good evening to you, good afternoon to you, depending on where and when you're watching it. Please just drop me a hi in the comments if you've taken the time to watch this live video. And I really do hope that you find value in it. So my title today was, does your outside world match your inside world? And so what do I mean by that? Oh, I see a heart. Hi, whoever you are. Thank you for joining me. Hi, Jackie. And so I want to talk about this topic, right? So up until probably 18 months ago, I was so unaware of what was going on inside my brain, inside my mind, inside my thoughts. I thought that I had everything that I wanted, and yet I wasn't that happy or content with my life. So rewind about 4 years ago, I had a picture perfect job. I worked for a fantastic company, great benefits. I had 2 awesome kids, a great husband, I had a lovely house, great social life. I had everything that you could possibly want. And yet on the inside, in the morning, I would wake up and I'd be like, here we go again. And it was being in this cycle of day in, day out, and not feeling a part of something bigger, a bigger mission, bigger purpose in life. And I had this feeling of there has to be something more. There has to be something more that I am meant to do. I guess at that point, I just put it down to the fact that I just wasn't, that happy with my job, and I wasn't finding fulfillment. And this was a pattern that had followed me all my working career, where I had gone, after about 18 months to 2 years in a job, I would start to get restless and cold feet, and I would want either a promotion or to look for another opportunity outside. Hey, Heather, and I'd want to move on. And I was just this I don't know how do you describe this feeling of just never feeling fully content or deeply rooted to where you were in life. I was always looking for the next best thing, that next vacation so that I could relax, that next girls' night out. Not that there is anything bad with it, but I could just never be me and happy to be me in the moment. After a while, it got really exhausting and tiring, and I kept thinking, what is wrong with me? And, I realized now that I truly didn't know or was connected to what was going on within me on the inside. There was a huge part of me that was missing because I didn't know who I was or what I wanted. So often in life, or most of the time in life, we all complain about our lives or what's going on, how stressed we are, how our kids are not behaving, how dirty our house is, how we're having a fight with our spouse, or maybe we're falling out with a girlfriend. We're all complaining about what's not going right in our life. And we spend very little time on the very big picture. Like, what do we want out of life? What is the big picture? Nobody, I didn't even know. And I'm still trying to figure that out. But very few of us intentionally spend time figuring it out. We think it's a waste of time unless, our brains are so programmed to do, to be on the go all the time, because our lives are so busy that any downtime that we have, if we're not doing, we feel like we're wasting and we're being unproductive. And, and we think we're being productive just by doing things. But when you set the intention to figure out, what do I want in life, and what is the bigger picture for my life, and where do I want to go in 10 years, 20 years time, that bigger vision, when you get very clear on that, and when you get anchored to that, should then drive the everyday stuff that you're doing. And it makes it easier because all the other stuff that we tend to stress about then just falls away because you realize, hey, this doesn't actually contribute to the bigger picture in life. And funnily enough, we tend to do this in our professional lives. If you have a corporate career, every year we sit down and we tend to plan with our department or our teams, what is our 5-year plan for this project? And then what is our 3-year plan? What is our 1-year plan? So then what does that break down into our weekly and daily activities? We do that in business terms, and a business is really successful when you break it down that way. But I bet you, when was the last time you did that for your life? Like, for us, it's a series of, we might have done that in high school. Like, I want to be a doctor or an accountant, so therefore I need to take these classes in high school or AP classes in high school to get me there. But, after we graduate from college and we enter the working world or we become stay-at-home mothers, we kind of lose vision and perspective of that. We get stuck in this cycle of, going to work in the morning, picking up our kids, coming home exhausted. We crash into bed, maybe watch a little Netflix, have dinner, crash into bed, and then start the whole thing all over again. And so we're left thinking, well, when do I have the time to think about my future, my vision? But I'm here to tell you, you have to set aside the time. You don't have the time, but you have to prioritize and set aside the time to focus on what is it that you truly want in life. What does your heart want? And I keep harping on about finding out what's going on in your heart. And that is so key. For such a long time in my life, for most of my life, I was always driven by what makes sense in my head, what looks good on paper, what's going to make sense for my career, what sort of company should I work for. And never ever did I ask myself, or maybe I did, but I didn't give it a whole lot of weight about, does this feel right in my heart? Does this align with who I am as a person? Does this align with my values? I think if it was way out of alignment, like if it was unethical that I worked for a company, then I wouldn't have done it. But, if it was off course a little bit, I would have just sucked it up and did it because the money was great. Maybe even though, the job itself wasn't aligned to truly what my strengths were and what my experiences were in life. So where am I going with all this? I don't know. I'm just riffing, you guys. I'm just riffing with coming to you from what's in my heart. So if you have any questions, I would love to hear in the comments box because I would love to answer any questions that you might have. And if you are typing questions and I'm not answering them, I am sorry. Like Facebook, I don't know whether sometimes it's not showing up the questions that people are asking or putting in the comments box. Can you just type in a hi if you're watching? If you type in a hi, I would love to see whether it's popping up on my phone. Because I don't know whether it's a problem on my end or whether it's a Facebook issue. So anyway, going back to my topic. So what kind of life do you want? Do you want an ordinary life or do you want an extraordinary life? And most of us would probably say, I want an extraordinary life. Like who wants an ordinary life, right? But what does an extraordinary life mean to you? Hey, okay, it's working. Hi Tracy from San Diego. I hope the weather is gorgeous for you over there. And so what does an extraordinary life look like to you? What is it in terms of making money? Do you always want to work for someone or do you want to work for yourself? What kind of places do you want to travel to? What kind of bigger purpose do you want to fulfill in your life? Whether that's a charity that you want to start or it's a charity that you want to pay back to, whether it's a church that you want to give money to. What does an extraordinary life look like to you? And do you intentionally set out every morning to create that extraordinary life for yourself? Or do you believe that you are not worthy or deserving of an extraordinary life? Most of us probably think, an extraordinary life is only worthy of people like Oprah Winfrey or Michael Jordan or Tony Robbins. These are all such successful thought leaders in our world, and they all lead an extraordinary life, but none of them started out that way. They all started out as a person of one who had a bigger mission, who felt deeply connected to wanting to do something bigger than themselves, to make a huge impact in this world. But, their mission to start out with was probably a little bit bigger than that, but they did want to feel deeply connected to a much bigger purpose in life than just making just enough money to get by. Like if that is your only goal in life, I bet you're probably feeling a little bit or a lot disconnected. and kind of just wondering, you know, is that all there is to life? And that's okay to feel that way. A lot of us do, because we think we don't know of any other way to get out of it. We don't know a way of making more than enough money so that we are creating wealth. We all make money, but very few of us create wealth. And for me, I want to create wealth. I want to create wealth so I can leave a legacy for my children. I want to create wealth so I can leave a legacy for others in the world, to have an education, to be rescued from sex trafficking. And that takes wealth to do all of that in a big way. And so today, you know, I really want to urge you to take time and think about, what is my purpose in life? And you might not get that answer today, but it is something that you should spend time doing every single day. Whether that's, you know, 5 minutes or 10 minutes a day where you spend quietly by yourself. And it helps a huge amount to have a book or a notebook or, you know, a journal to write your thoughts on, because our minds go at a 10,000 million miles an hour, and it's hard to slow it down to catch all of those thoughts. And not all thoughts serve us in a positive way. So when you dump all of these thoughts out on your journal, you can get real clear on what's BS and what's bullshit and what is actually serving you. So for a long time, I didn't know until I started journaling that I absolutely loved uplifting and empowering women. I realized that in my network marketing business, I was doing this on a day in, day out basis, where I was talking to women either about their skin, or I was just talking to them on the business side of things when they would feel down about maybe not doing well in their business. We would really get to the root cause of the problem. And I would, you know, talk to them about what their money blocks were, what their money resistance were, and why they felt bad about selling. Oh my gosh, that's a whole other live that I could do about women, especially women feeling bad about selling. Like, I've never come across a guy that feels bad about selling. And it's a whole worthiness issue, and it's a whole issue about deserving to get paid for what we do. But that's a whole other life. And I've completely lost track of what I was talking about because I went off track. Hey, Carrie. So going back to, if anybody remembers what I was talking about before I went off track. So I want you to get super clear on the journaling. Yes, thank you. So I want you to get super clear when you're journaling about what an extraordinary life looks like to you. And it's different for every person, but please spend time writing it down. A year from now, if you could have anything at all, what would you want your life to look like? And write down, you know, where would you have traveled, and write it down as though it's already happened. So what, tomorrow's December 1st. So write it as though it's December 1st, 2018. And write about, oh my gosh, like in December of 2017, you know, my business took off, and like March, you know, it exploded. I had 100% growth. Like, I was able to take my kids to Disneyland because of how much I made in my business, and it, you know, and I got this promotion at my job. My husband and I went on this 3rd honeymoon. Like, write about what you want your extraordinary 2018 to look like. And be grateful for it, and write it in the past tense as though it's already happened. And I'm telling you, you will be amazed at the stuff that spills out on paper. Like, stuff that's been going on so buried deep in your unconscious will spill out. And that'll give you an idea of the things that you want that you don't even realize that you want. And then you'll also start to get all these feelings about, well, how the heck am I going to do that? There is no way I can afford that, or that costs too much money. You know, like, you know, who am I to ask that? Like, why do I deserve a Chanel purse? That could come out of your journaling. And then you realize that you have all of these crazy, and I'm, you know, my mother might be watching this, so I feel bad about swearing, but I'm going to use the word bullshit. You know, all this crazy bullshit that comes up about you not deserving the things that you want. So it's so important to first, you know, get this really clear on what is your bigger purpose in life. You know, what does an extraordinary life look like to you? And then what is all the stuff that comes up when you talk about that extraordinary life? Because I am telling you, issues of worthiness and deserving will come up. because we're all human and we're all plagued with our ego, which always likes us to play small. It tells us, you know, who the heck are you to want that? So it's really important to kind of become aware of all of these thoughts. And so going back to my original topic about, you know, does your inner world reflect your outside world? Yes, 100%. It always does. So I want to split this answer in two ways. So one is, you know, if you are where you are in your life today and you're looking at it and you're thinking, well, I'm not quite happy about what's going on in this aspect of my life. Like, I'm not happy about the weight I've been trying to lose, or I haven't gotten to my 2017 goals that I wanted to, and it's almost the end of the year. And you're looking at it and you're like, well, you know, it doesn't really reflect what I want, right? But what's happening is that your subconscious is keeping you exactly where you want to be. And so, you know, all the top coaches will coach you on this, and they'll say, you are co-creating your world with the universe at all times, at all times. So the life that you have today, whether you like it or not, you've had 100% power and control over creating it, because every thought you have creates experiences and things. Every thought you have leads to an action, which then leads to a result that you have today. So, you know, if there are things in life today that's going on that you love, congratulations. You did that, you manifested it, you created that. But if there are things in life that today that you don't like, well, I'm sorry to say that you are also the one who created that because of what is going on inside of you. Okay, so if for any reason you're not attracting the money that you want, or you're not attracting the weight loss that you want, you've got to dig in and find out, well, why am I not? What is it about me that is keeping me where I am? What are the thoughts that I'm holding on to? What are the beliefs that I am holding on to that are keeping me where I am? And this is why I say it takes daily work to get these answers, because it's not like a one-time thing where you just sit down and the answer pops up like a, you know, pop quiz question. There is no one final answer. It takes months and months and months of digging and peeling back the layers. And so if your outer world is not reflecting what you want, it's because you're not clear on what it is you want. You're sending out very mixed emotions and signals to the universe. So let's say you want to have, if you run your own business, is an easy example for me to use because I run my own business. Let's say you want a $5,000 a month in your business, and you've hit a ceiling and you keep hitting 2,000 or 3,000 and you're not exceeding more than that. So you're like getting mad, right? You're like, why? I'm so clear on what I want. I want $5,000. Why can't I make it, right? But deep down inside, if you're probably not even aware of it, is you have these thoughts and beliefs that where you're telling yourself, I can't make 5,000, or I don't know how to make 5,000, or if I make 5,000, that probably means that I might have to give it away, or $5,000 might create issues, or I might need to pay off these bills that I don't want to pay. Like whatever, you know, crazy BS that goes on in your head to prevent this stuff from happening. We all have like blocks and resistance that lie within us that, again, block us from getting to where we want to go. And it's buried so deep in our subconscious that you're not probably aware of it today. So unless you make a conscious effort to bring it to the surface, to examine it, and you know, and get rid of those beliefs, or not get rid of it. So you have to examine those beliefs, replace them with thoughts that are more beneficial to you, and work on it every single day. So think about it as like these limiting beliefs that you have, they are written in like permanent marker, right? And you got to get Mr. Magic Eraser every day and kind of chip away at it day by day, so that eventually it looks like a very faint mark, and then eventually it disappears. That's how this stuff works. So if your outer world is not reflecting your inner world, then it's totally up to you. That's the good news and the bad news, right? It's totally up to you because you're the only one that can change it. And the bad news is that it's totally up to you because if you're not doing the work, then it's not going to change. All right, so I hope this topic was useful to you. I was kind of all over the place, but you know, my world completely changed when I kind of wrapped my head and my arms around this idea of it's more important to do the inner work than all the action that we put in the outside world, right? Like we're all pedaling so fast in the cycle of trying to get ahead in our career and trying to get ahead in our life and trying to, you know, like decorate our house and have this like great life. But you know, we get lost in what it is that we truly want when we're so much of in a hurry to do all of these other things. I hope that makes sense. So I truly have gotten more comfortable with who I am as an individual. I've gotten more comfortable in my own skin, and I have discovered parts of my purpose. I am still discovering, you know, what it is, my mission, like this 100% view of what my mission is. Hey, Wanda. And I'm still working on that every single day. And I work on it. Like my life depends on it because it does. I do not want to coast through life anymore. I think, you know, almost coasting, like when I was working in the corporate world, coasting was easy on some days. I was just kind of like clocking in and clocking out literally every single day. And once I started on the spiritual journey, it started really becoming a roller coaster because I started to wrestle with all of these beliefs that I had that was so deeply ingrained, and I really like wrestled with them to figure out, you know, what is the root of where this comes from. And it pops up like that carnival game that you have, you know, the one that the kids pop on the hammer and they go in and then they come back out again. And it's an everyday thing where you battle with these beliefs that just crop up, and you think you've dealt with them, that you think you've healed that part of you that was hurt, that you know, that's carrying on all of this anger and hurt and grief, and then you think you've healed it and you think, oh, it's done, and you move on, and then something else happens and then it triggers it all over again, and you're like, oh crap, I got to work on that stuff again. But you know what, working on this inner work has been the most liberating, freeing experience of my life, because I have finally gotten to be the true me, and there is nothing more freeing and liberating than that. So that's all. I'm done riffing for today. I could probably go on and on about this topic. If you found this helpful, the one thing I would ask for you in return is please share it. Please like it. Please comment on it. That is the only thank you that I need in return. And I would be ever so grateful for that kind of feedback. All right, I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I will catch you guys soon. Bye-bye.